Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take a whole stack of sources and, well, pull out the essential stuff you need to know so you can sound informed.
And maybe drop a really surprising fact or two.
Exactly. Today, we're talking about an actor whose face,
Instantly.
whose voice, it's everywhere, especially in animation, but his actual professional range, his ubiquity, it's just wildly underappreciated. We're talking about Richard Bruce Kind.
It's so true. And our mission today really is to give him his due. He is, you could argue, the quintessential modern character actor.
Absolutely.
Think about it. This is a guy whose career goes from the sharp political satire of Spin City all the way to, the emotional core of a Pixar classic.
And then throws in a Tony-nominated dramatic performance on Broadway.
Right, and a major role in a Coen Brothers film. It's a lot.
It really is. When you just start listing the roles.
Yeah.
Dr. Mark Devenau on Mad About You.
Classic.
The wonderfully paranoid Paul Lassiter on Spin City.
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
And then, Bing Bong, Inside Out, just heartbreaking. The range alone is staggering. So our conversation today is designed to give you, the listener, a shortcut, a way to understand not just what he's done, but how it all connects.
Yeah, the improv roots, the stage discipline, how that feeds into the film and TV work. It really defines this career of, honestly, almost unmatched professional stability.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting right at the beginning, his foundations.
Okay, so Richard Kind, born November 20, 1956, Trenton, New Jersey.
Okay.
Seems like a fairly typical upbringing, though they did move around a bit. He moved with his family. He has a younger sister, Joanne, to Yardley, Pennsylvania. That was when he was in 4th grade.
Right, Yardley. And we know a bit about his parents, too, which gives some context.
Yeah, his mother, Alice, she was a homemaker. And his father, Samuel Kind, he was a jeweler, actually owned a well-known store, LeVaque's Jewelry, over in Princeton.
A jeweler. That's
Mhm.
interesting. Yeah. Sort of a stable, grounded background, completely outside the acting world he'd eventually, jump into.
Exactly. That parental stability is sort of the backdrop. But then, if you dig into his ancestry, you find this really fascinating kind of heavy historical detail.
Yeah.
The sources confirm his family is of Russian Jewish origin. His ancestors came from the Pale of Settlement.
Wow.
Which, ties him into that whole long history of American performers whose families came seeking opportunity, often escaping restriction or persecution.
That definitely adds some historical weight right away.
Yeah.
But you mentioned a specific detail, something about an ancestor.
Yes. His great-grandfather, Hyman Burson. The story is, well, it's quite something.
Go on.
He immigrated, like so many, to the Lower East Side of Manhattan. Started out doing tough work, a peddler.
Okay, the classic immigrant story start.
Right, but he actually managed to build something. He ended up running a crayon factory.
A crayon factory?
Yeah, running a crayon factory in 1920s or 30s Manhattan. It's such a specific, almost whimsical detail, isn't it? Especially when you consider how his life ended.
Okay, that sounds ominous. You said it contrasts sharply.
It does, because the sources state it very plainly. Hyman Burson was murdered in 1933.
Whoa. Murdered.
Yeah. So the great-grandfather of the guy who voiced Bing Bong, murdered in Depression-era New York. It's just a really visceral reminder of the, complex and sometimes violent histories that sit behind the biographies of performers we often see as purely comedic or lighthearted.
Definitely grounds his family story in a much deeper, darker historical reality.
Wow.
Okay, so that's some heavy foundational stuff. Let's shift gears a bit. How did he get onto the path towards performance? His education seems pretty key.
Absolutely. He graduated from Pennsbury High School, that's in Fairless Hills, back in 1974.
Okay.
And interestingly, another actor you might know, Robert Curtis Brown, was actually a classmate.
Huh. Small world.
And, recognition came later, too. In 2022, Pennsbury High inducted him into their Hall of Fame. He was in the very first class.
Nice. So the local community recognized his success, too.
Yeah, exactly. After high school, he went to Northwestern University, graduated in 78 with a BA. He was in a fraternity there, Sigma Alpha Epsilon.
Northwestern, solid school. But was that the main training? Or was there something else?
Well, that academic background was important, I'm sure. But the real proving ground, the place that seems absolutely fundamental to his entire approach, the Second City in Chicago.
Ah, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
That Second City training, you can just see it ripple through everything he does. The quick thinking, the adaptability, the commitment to the ensemble, finding the character fast. It all starts there.
Right.
He's listed as an active alumnus from 1978 basically to the present day, which tells you something, right? Improv isn't just something he did, it's part of his core professional identity.
It taught him how to pivot, probably essential when you're juggling multiple big roles at once.
Totally. And that skill set led pretty directly to his first big TV exposure. He was an ensemble member on Carol Burnett's variety show, Carol and Company.
Oh, I remember that. Short-lived, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, 1990 to 91. But it got him noticed, put him on the network map, really. Set him up perfectly for that incredible run he had in the 90s and early 2000s.
Okay, let's talk about that run. Because his presence on the small screen, particularly in sitcoms, was just foundational. He achieved something pretty remarkable.
Yeah, we really need to spend some time here. Because he wasn't just on sitcoms, he was a mainstay. And the truly exceptional thing, he managed to hold down major roles on 2 hit sitcoms on different networks at the same time for several years.
Which is practically unheard of, the scheduling alone.
Must have been insane. But beyond logistics, it's the fact that he nailed 2 quite different comedic personas simultaneously. That's the real achievement.
Let's break them down. First, Dr. Mark Davinow on Mad About You. That started in 92, ran till 99. And he came back for the revival in 2019, too.
Right. Davina was, well, he was the quintessential anxious but ultimately good-hearted friend, wasn't he? That specific kind of New York upper-middle-class neurotic energy.
Exactly. Always slightly frazzled, but lovable.
And then while that's still going strong, in 1996 he starts as Paul Lassiter on Spin City, running all the way to 2002.
And Lassiter was a completely different beast.
Oh yeah, not just neurotic, but deeply cynical, paranoid, often kind of sleazy.
Always looking out for himself. As the mayoral press secretary, he was a source of so much comedic friction in that office.
Yeah.
Constantly undermining everyone.
Physical comedy, too. Lots of it.
And the genius, I think, is how distinct he kept them. Devan, you related to his anxieties.
Yeah.
Lassiter. You laughed at his paranoia, but you probably wouldn't want him anywhere near your life.
Right. He wasn't just playing Richard Kind. He created 2 fully formed different characters. Flipping that switch daily. That's where that Second City training really shows.
Absolutely. And here's a key detail about Spin City that speaks volumes about him professionally.
What's that?
He and Michael Boatman, who played Carter,
great character, too.
They were the only 2 actors who appeared in every single episode of the entire run.
Wow, every single one, even through the transition from Michael J. Fox to Charlie Sheen.
Every single one. That's not just trivia, right?
Yeah.
That tells you he was considered absolutely essential, indispensable to the show's core, no matter who the lead star was.
That's incredible stability, just rock solid.
And beyond those 2 huge sitcoms, his connections to other top comedians continued. We have to talk about Larry David.
Oh, yes. Cousin Andy on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
A recurring role that spanned, almost 2 decades.
8 episodes between 2002 and 2021, which is amazing longevity for Curb.
And in that universe where everyone's basically awful in their own way.
Kind's cousin Andy fits right in. Loud, invasive, demanding, often just completely tone deaf.
He's the perfect foil for Larry's specific brand of simmering rage, isn't he? That awkward, annoying family energy cranked up to 11.
He plays it perfectly. It's a very specific kind of aggressive, uncomfortable comedy.
But it's not just the stable roles or the big comedy connections. His guest spots. I mean, the sheer variety is mind-blowing. He pops up everywhere.
He really is that actor casting directors call when they need someone to bring a specific, maybe unexpected layer, whether it's malice or pathos or just extreme quirkiness.
Let's look at the drama first. Law and Order, Criminal Intent.
Right, the episode Privilege. He played this wealthy philanthropist, seems like a pillar of the community.
What?
But he murders his sister-in-law and niece to prevent a scandal that would threaten his funding, his reputation, his good works.
Wow. That's dark. 0 laughs there.
None. Pure, dramatic commitment. Playing deep, calculated villainy. It's a million miles away from Paul Lassiter, even though Lassiter was cynical. This was cold.
And he showed that kind of moral ambiguity elsewhere, too, right, in other procedurals.
Yeah, he played a corrupt mayor in the season 2 finale of Leverage. 2-parter.
Okay.
And then shifting genres slightly, The Spy World, Burn Notice. He did 3 episodes in season 4. Played Marv, who was a former boss of Jesse, the spy who got burned.
Oh, right. So again, that figure who's professionally competent but morally flexible.
Exactly. He excels at that. The guy who knows how the system works and maybe uses it to his advantage.
He even brought his distinct flavor to sci-fi. You mentioned Stargate Atlantis.
Yeah, Lucius O'Liven. 2 episodes, irresistible and irresponsible.
What was interesting about that?
Well, he didn't suddenly become, a stoic space hero.
Yeah.
He used his trademark energy, his neurosis, but channeled it into being this comedic outsider. This sort of disruptive, slightly annoying character dropped into this very structured sci-fi world. It was a really smart use of his specific comedic skills within that genre.
And more recently, he proved he could still anchor a network drama. East New York on CBS.
Played Police Captain Stan Yanko. Solid role. The show itself only lasted one season. Got canceled in 2022.
Okay.
But it showed he's still absolutely seen as a dependable choice for serious ensemble work.
Yeah.
He can carry that weight.
Okay, so drama, sci-fi, procedurals.
Yeah.
But let's swing back to pure comedy and quirk,
Okay.
because that's often where he just shines.
Oh, absolutely. You have to mention Harvey Korman in Scrubs.
The hypochondriac.
Yes.
Constantly showing up at the hospital.
And that great meta joke he delivered about sharing the name with Harvey Korman, the legendary comedian.
What was it again?
Something like, it doesn't get me as much action as you might think.
Huh. Perfect. That
Okay.
kind of self-aware humor only works if you've got the comedic chops he has.
Totally. Then there was Psych. He played Hugo, an astronomer who turns out to be a murderer.
And the episode title was perfect. From the Earth to the Starbucks.
Psych always had the best titles.
And he fit right into super modern, high-concept stuff, too.
Yeah.
Like playing the GED instructor on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Right, he just slots in anywhere. The sheer number of these guest spots across every conceivable genre, it just shows he's not playing one type. He plays the essential character needed for that specific story, whatever gets the plot moving or provides the right comedic or dramatic beat.
And that consistency hasn't stopped. Look at his current work.
Only Murders in the Building. Huge hit for Hulu. He plays Vince Fish.
Right. And he's really integrated into that core ensemble now.
So much so that he was part of the cast that won the Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Ensemble in a Comedy Series just this year, 2025.
That's fantastic. An Ensemble SAG Award is like the ultimate validation for a character actor, isn't it? Recognizing that contribution to the whole machine.
Absolutely. And just to show he hasn't forgotten his comedy roots, last year, 2023, he popped up in Mel Brooks' History of the World, Part 2.
Playing who?
St. Peter.
Of course. Perfect casting.
The man's TV resume is just, it's
Yeah.
endless. Truly.
Okay, so if he's a titan of the small screen, his voice work, I mean, you could argue he's the voice of a whole generation of animated movies.
Right.
We need to talk about Disney Pixar.
Oh, definitely. For a lot of people, especially younger audiences, his voice is probably the most recognizable part of his career.
Right.
And it shows that same incredible range. His Pixar connection goes way, way back.
The Bug's Life, right? 1998.
Yep, he was Molt, the nervous, kind of easily flustered grasshopper in the circus troupe.
Perfect voice for that. And he carried that kind of energy over to the Cars movies, too.
Voiced Van, the minivan who's always getting lost or stressed out. In the first two films, 2006 and 2011.
And a smaller role, but memorable, Bookworm in Toy Story 3.
Right, those are great examples of him using that natural, high-energy, slightly anxious delivery for reliable comic relief. Classic Richard Kind territory.
But then there's the one role that just exists on a completely different plane. Emotionally, culturally.
Bing Bong.
Bing Bong. Inside Out.
Yeah.
2015. Riley's Imaginary Friend.
Yeah, this one, it needs its own discussion because it's not just a voice performance, it's the heart of that movie.
He is the embodiment of childhood innocence, of fading memories, of letting go.
Exactly. The sources really hammer this home. Bing Bong was the emotional core. And the reason it hit so hard, why it resonated so deeply with audiences, is because Kind managed to infuse this fluffy pink whatever he was.
Part cat, part elephant, part dolphin.
Made of cotton candy. Right. He infused that creature with just immense selfless pathos. You hear the joy in his voice, the hope, the nostalgia, and then ultimately the heartbreak.
He had to completely suppress his usual manic energy for that role. Find this incredibly sweet, almost tragic innocence.
And that final scene, take her to the moon for me. It's one of the most famous, most devastating moments in modern animation. Maybe cinema, period.
It's just unbelievable that the same actor who played the cynical, scheming Paul Lasseter could deliver that voice performance, making millions weep over an imaginary friend. That vocal shift alone is just, it's a masterclass.
It really is. And moving beyond Pixar, he's got incredible staying power in animated TV too, often voicing characters that blend that cynicism with absurdity.
Like on American Dad. He's been voicing Al Tuttle since 2005. Still going.
Tuttle, the neighbor. That sort of dry, middle-aged suburban weirdness.
And then for a totally different vibe, the adult animation world.
Yeah.
Big Mouth on Netflix.
Marty Globerman, Andrew's dad, scheduled to run through 2025.
And Glauberman is, well, he's a lot. Rich, often completely oblivious, a whole other layer of comedic neurosis. Very different from Tuttle.
He's even done villains effectively. Frugal Lucre in Kim Possible.
Oh yeah, the greedy fast food mogul.
See? He can use that voice for avarice just as easily as for heartwarming sacrifice. It's remarkably flexible.
And animals. He seems to voice a lot of animals.
He really does. Pongo and Oswald, that was a kid's show back in the early 2000s.
Roger the alligator and the penguins of Madagascar. He was in quite a few of those.
With amazing episode titles like Haunted Habitat and April Fools.
Can't forget Larry the anaconda in the wild.
And way back, he was Tom in Tom and Jerry, the movie. Even recent, more niche stuff keeps him in the game, like voicing a Doppler on Star Trek, Lower Decks.
His voice is just everywhere. And not just in character roles, it's a commodity.
Right. He narrated Disney's Go Baby. And commercials. He was the spokesman for Encore frozen foods for a while.
Lending that friendly, familiar voice to, frozen lasagna.
And more recently, in 2021, he narrated commercials for Freestyle Libre, the glucose monitoring device.
So his voice carries this inherent sense of familiarity, maybe even trust. It's instantly recognizable.
Absolutely ubiquitous. Okay, but we can't just talk TV and voice. We have to shift to the medium that arguably showcases his depth and discipline the most, the stage.
Yes, because it's easy to just think of him as the sitcom guy or the voice guy, but his Broadway credentials are real and significant.
This feels like where that rigorous training, maybe even going back to Second City, really pays off. It's crucial for you, the listener, to know he's not just a screen actor. The stage seems fundamental to him.
He has major Broadway credits. Let's list some.
Okay. The Tale of the Allergist's Wife in 2000, then The Producers in 2002, and Sly Fox in 2004.
All big, high-profile shows demanding roles that need serious stage presence and stamina.
And his connection to The Producers is deep. He was in that 2002 Broadway run.
But then later, he actually played the lead role, Max Bialystock, right?
Yeah. In a big Hollywood Bowl production in 2012, Max Bialystock is a monster role. Requires huge energy, physical comedy, singing.
And he was also in the movie adaptation.
Played the jury foreman in the 2005 film, so he's been involved with that property across stage and screen in different capacities. Speaks to his versatility even within one world.
He also has a connection to Stephen Sondheim, which is serious musical theater cred.
A significant one. He actually created the role of Addison Misner in Sondheim's show Bounce.
Wow, originating a Sondheim role.
And he also tackled Pseudolus in A Force. A funny thing happened on the way to the Forum, another iconic, difficult role. These aren't simple parts, they demand real craft.
And all this stage work, this commitment, it led to major recognition, didn't it? Specifically for a play in 2013.
Yes. This is arguably the peak of his dramatic stage career so far. His performance as Marcus Hoff in the revival of Clifford Odets' classic play, The Big Knife.
Marcus Hoff. Who is he in the play?
He's the manipulative, utterly ruthless studio executive, a really dark, powerful character.
And that role got him nominated for a Tony Award.
Nominated for Best Featured Actor in a Play, which is huge. But here's the key detail for you, the learner. While he was nominated for the Tony, he won the Drama Desk Award for the same role.
Okay. And the Drama Desk Awards are highly respected, often seen as more focused purely on the performance itself, right?
Exactly. Winning that for playing such a morally corrupt, intense character, again, a universe away from Dr. Davino or even Paul Lasseter, it just solidified his status as an actor capable of profound dramatic depth on stage.
Okay, let's carry that dramatic weight over to his film work. Because while comedy might be his calling card for many, he's been in some serious, prestigious films.
Definitely. Often tackling heavy themes, even within comedies.
Way back, he had a small but, functionally important role in the original Stargate movie in 1994.
Right, Gary Myers, the archaeologist who does the initial translation of the symbols. He's basically the exposition guy before Daniel Jackson takes over.
A quick role, but shows he was in the mix for big-budget sci-fi early on.
But if you want to see his real dramatic chops on film, you have to talk about the Coen brothers, A Serious Man from 2009.
Oh, absolutely. His role as Arthur Gopnik.
Arthur, Larry Gopnik's brother, living on his couch, deeply troubled, physically unwell.
With that cyst on his neck he keeps draining. It's such a visceral, uncomfortable detail.
It really is. And Arthur is just this bundle of misery and bad decisions. Stealing money, writing his nonsensical probability map, the mentaculus.
Kind had to embody this profound vulnerability, this sadness, this physical and moral decay. It's such a stark contrast to his usual energetic persona.
And it fit perfectly into that Coen brothers landscape of existential dread and dark humor. It's an incredible performance.
And the ensemble work in that film was widely recognized.
Yeah, the cast got nominations for Best Ensemble from the Gotham Awards and the Boston Society of Film Critics, and they won the Independent Spirit Robert Altman Award in 2010, which specifically honors a director and the ensemble cast.
So again, recognition for fitting seamlessly into a high-art, serious, dramatic piece.
Yeah.
Just like he fits into a sitcom.
He followed that up with more solid film roles. He played Max Klein, the screenwriter character, in Argo in 2012.
Right, the Ben Affleck film.
And more recently, showing he can work with today's most distinct voices, he had a strong supporting role in Ari Aster's Beau is Afraid in 2023.
Which was certainly a unique film. Fits his ability to handle the quirky and the intense.
And this filmography, especially roles like Argo, brings us to maybe his most famous collaborator, both professionally and personally.
George Clooney.
George Clooney. Their connection runs deep. Professionally, Kind was in Clooney's directorial debut, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, played a casting director.
Okay.
And remember that HBO series, Unscripted, kind of blurring reality and fiction about actors' lives?
Vaguely, yeah.
Clooney executive produced and directed that with Grant Heslov, and Kind played himself in it.
Ah, interesting. And the Argo connection, too.
Argo was produced by Clooney and Heslov, which likely helps secure Kind that role as Max Klein. There's clearly a professional shorthand, a loyalty there.
Which makes perfect sense given their shared history and that history.
Well, it inevitably leads us to the stories everyone wants to hear. The pranks. Segment 5. Personal life and the legendary Clooney anecdotes.
Right. Gotta cover the basics first, though. Personal life. Kind was married to Dana Stanley from 1999 to 2018.
They have 3 kids, a son, Max, and 2 daughters, Samantha and Skylar. And he currently lives on the Upper West Side in Manhattan. Keeps that New York theater connection strong.
Got it. Okay. Now, the fun stuff. George Clooney was best man at Kind's wedding in '99.
Which tells you how close they really were and presumably still are.
But the legendary stories, the ones that get repeated, mostly come from that period before Clooney hit it big with ER, when he was crashing at Kind's place in L.A.
Yes, this seems to be the crucible where Clooney forged his lifelong dedication to elaborate practical jokes, often targeted squarely at Richard Kind.
And these weren't just simple gags, were they? They were campaigns.
Oh, absolutely. Sustained psychological operations disguised as friendship. One of the big ones was Clooney trying to convince Kind he was secretly a Jeopardy.
No
Genius.
How did he even do that?
He'd stage it, have someone call with obscure trivia, or just happen to know incredibly specific answers when the show was on, just to mess with Kind's head, make him think his buddy had this hidden Gernsbackian level of knowledge.
The sheer effort involved. And that wasn't the only one.
Nope. He also pretended to be an aspiring painter.
Seriously.
Yeah. Created these bizarre, abstract paintings, left them around the apartment, talked earnestly about his process, forced Kind into the awkward position of having to comment on and sort of validate this completely fabricated artistic talent.
It's less like pranking and more like performance art aimed at maximum confusion for an audience of one.
Exactly. Which is why the stories are so funny. It's not really about cruelty. It's about the absolute commitment to the bit, the dedication to the chaos.
But there's one anecdote that always comes up. The piece de resistance of the pranks, the most infamous one.
Yes, the litter box incident.
Tell the people.
According to the stories, the culmination of this prank war involved George Clooney
Well,
defecating in Richard Kind's cat's litter box.
he really did that.
Apparently so. The image is just, it's peak absurdity. A future Oscar winner, international superstar, engaging in biological warfare against his friend's cat's toilet.
It perfectly encapsulates the boundary-pushing, juvenile, yet somehow affectionate nature of their friendship, right?
Totally. And the amazing thing, when you step back, is that Kind clearly endured all this. Their friendship survived, even thrived, while both their careers exploded. It speaks volumes about Kind's patience, his resilience, maybe his ability to eventually laugh it off.
Or maybe get his own back in ways we don't know about.
Perhaps. But it definitely points to a very specific, very strong bond forged in those early competitive years.
Okay. So we've covered the background, the massive TV career, the iconic voice work, the serious stage and film roles, and the legendary pranks. Let's try to synthesize this. What's the big takeaway for the listener here about Richard Kind?
I think the core takeaway is that his career is ultimately defined by 2 things. Sheer ubiquity, just being everywhere, and an absolute mastery of the essential supporting role.
He's the ultimate character actor chameleon.
Exactly. He's the guy who connects Spin City's cynical political world to the absolute emotional devastation of Bing Bong. to a Tony-nominated turn as a ruthless executive on Broadway, and then to an award-winning part in a Coen Brothers film about existential dread.
It's an incredible thread to follow, and that recent SAG award for Only Murders just proves he's still doing it at the highest level. Still a crucial piece of a top-tier ensemble.
Absolutely. So for you, the listener, the lesson from Richard Kind's career is maybe this. Long-term success in this crazy industry often isn't just about chasing the spotlight or the leading role.
Right.
It's about cultivating versatility, being incredibly consistent, and proving yourself utterly dependable across different platforms. TV, film, stage, voice. He moves between them seamlessly.
His ability to go from, heavy stage drama one month to voicing, like a cartoon alligator the next, and be excellent in both, that's the superpower.
It really is a remarkable body of work.
Okay, that brings us to our final provocative thought, something for you to chew on after this deep dive.
Given those deep roots in Second City improv and the incredible discipline we know is required for Broadway performing perfectly night after night,
How much has that theatrical rigor, that focus, actually enabled his long and varied career in the much more chaotic, often one-take worlds of film and TV? Is that stage foundation the real secret sauce?
that's one angle. Or maybe sticking with the animation. Which of his iconic voice roles will ultimately be seen as his most enduring legacy?
Is it the heartbreak of Bing Bong? The nervous energy of Molt? Or maybe the long-running paternal absurdity of Marty Globerman on Big Mouth?
The answer might genuinely depend on which generation you ask, which voice first lodged itself in their memory.
Something to definitely ponder next time you inevitably see his face or hear that unmistakable voice, which will probably be very soon.
No doubt about it.
Thanks for diving in with us today.